Welcome to Ardhini Home Decor. I'm here to show you how to transform cramped quarters into a stylish and functional home. Today, we're tackling a viewer's question, so let's jump right into it. When you walk into this studio, you see the bed, the kitchen, and the living area. This is a great start, but it needs some punch. This is the main problem with most studios, doing a lot with a little. The space is barely 400 square feet, so it needs to function as a one-bedroom apartment while still feeling like a home. The key to a small space is maximizing every inch. So let's dive into our first strategy, smart layout. Start by defining your zones. For example, we want a clear pathway from the front door to the bedroom without disrupting the flow. As you can see, the current setup feels a bit tight. Instead of pushing the bed against the wall, let's place it diagonally. We're creating zones. Having a sleep zone, living zone, and dining zone helps break up the space. I'm also adding a console table behind the bed with a mirror to give the space some depth. Next, we're going to reimagine the living area. The couch is in the best spot, so we'll keep it there. But let's trade the coffee table for a nesting side table. This gives us extra surface area for drinks and dinner. But it's also flexible. If we need more space for a project or a guest, the side table can slide into the corner. Finally, let's brighten up the dining area. We're going to swap the chairs for something more compact, but I want to keep the existing table. We can anchor it with a runner to give it some style. Plus, it visually separates the dining area from the living area. Here's a tip. By keeping the walkway between the two zones nice and wide, it feels open. Now let's see how much brighter and more spacious this layout feels. Instead of just looking at a blank wall, we now have a mirror that reflects light and doubles the visual size of the room. Because we put the bed at an angle, it gives us enough space for a console table. And by trading the coffee table for a side table, it gives us more surface area for our essentials. Now let's talk vertical storage. In a small space, your walls are prime real estate. Using floor-to-ceiling shelving makes the space feel taller. This bookcase can now hold all of the knickknacks and books instead of having them scattered around the room. By using the entire wall, we draw the eye upward, which gives the illusion of a taller ceiling. When the space feels taller, it feels bigger. If you don't have bookshelves, you can add floating shelves. They're an easy DIY project and can hold smaller items. In the kitchen, think about vertical storage too. If you don't have upper cabinets, you can add open shelving, but if you need more storage, install full-length cabinets. It's a better use of space, and it looks better than having boxes stacked on top of each stabilities. Another pro tip, always measure before you buy. You may find that a tall cabinet won't fit through the door, so take note of the height and width of your doorways. You'd hate to get stuck, right? When you enter the room, you'll notice these hooks immediately. They're a great way to hang bags, hats, scarves, jewelry, and other accessories. No more littering the surfaces with these items. Just remember to keep the hooks low so you can easily reach them. You don't want to end up on a step stool every time. Okay, so far we've tackled layout and vertical storage. Next up, lighting. Good lighting makes a space feel twice as big. So let's change out the basic overhead bulb for a statement pendant light. This will define the dining area and add visual interest. Since the ceiling is low, we're choosing a pendant light with a shorter profile. Underneath the kitchen cabinets, we can add under-cabinet lighting. This will help illuminate the countertops for food prep and add a warm glow to the space. Remember to consider layering your lighting. You can add a table lamp or a floor lamp to offer focused task lighting. On the opposite wall, we can add some wall sconces to free up table space. These will give off ambient lighting. And finally, I love adding string lights to create a cozy vibe for reading or relaxing. Remember the formula I shared earlier: 1 overhead, 2 task, and accent lighting. Here's another small space staple: mirrors. They can make your room appear larger and brighter. Just imagine how dark and narrow this hallway would feel without the mirror. Pro tip, if you're limited on wall space, try a mirror on the back of the door. Speaking of doors, I love painting them a bold color. It's an easy way to add some personality to your place. Now let's talk textiles. Using a large rug unifies the space and anchors the furniture. The trick is to choose one that's slightly smaller than the furniture pieces it's tying together. This defines each zone while still connecting them. I'm also loving these curtain panels. They're floor to ceiling, which makes the windows appear taller and the ceilings appear higher. Now look how much more spacious the room looks. Let's head to the bedroom area. First up, a headboard. It doesn't have to be fancy. Something as simple as a painted rectangle adds some dimension and ties in the mirror above the bed. As for the bedding, I'm a fan of light neutrals like beige, cream, and soft gray. They reflect light instead of absorbing it. You don't want dark colors in a small space unless you're using them as an accent. And let's not forget about the windows. Floor-to-ceiling curtains make the windows look taller, which makes the room look bigger. One more thing I love in small spaces: multifunctional furniture. You really have to be strategic about what you bring into the space. Each piece needs to pull double duty. Take this ottoman, for example. It can be used as a coffee table, extra seating, and storage. If you entertain a lot, consider a sofa bed. It gives you the flexibility to host overnight guests, and it doesn't take up much space. Let's talk kitchen storage. There are so many products out there to help you organize your kitchen. If you don't have upper cabinets, try installing wire baskets underneath the sink. They can hold cleaning supplies and kitchen gadgets. Also, you can add an island or a rolling cart to help with prep space. And if you don't have space for a full-size dining table, try a drop-leaf table. With clever folding designs, it expands to seat 4 for dinner and then folds down to save space during the day. And for the ultimate space saver, consider a Murphy bed. It allows you to have a bedroom and a guest room depending on the day. I know there's a lot to take in, so let's quickly recap. We added a platform bed with drawers to maximize storage. We used furniture to define zones for living, working, and sleeping. We swapped in a multifunctional sofa bed for extra guests. And we used vertical storage to give the illusion of more space. In my opinion, the biggest transformation was the lighting. Once we layered in different types of lighting, it felt like a whole new space. In fact, I have a whole video dedicated to small space lighting, so make sure to check that out next. And if you're enjoying this series, please hit the like button. It helps me decide which questions to answer next. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, see you.